Welcome to Morning Joan, the only podcast where the tea is always hot and the gossip is always juicy. We've got a lot to dish about, but first, let's talk about Donald Trump. Because, well, when does he not make headlines? So, it seems like President Trump has won yet another golf tournament at one of his own courses. I mean, who is surprised, right? The man does love his golf. This time, it was at his Westchester club, Trump National Westchester, where he teamed up with caddies for the annual Caddies Day tournament, and of course he came out on top. But what's really interesting is that he gave the caddies a $25,000 bonus to be split among them. I guess when you're a billionaire, throwing around cash like that is no big deal. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Joan, why are we talking about Donald Trump's golf game? And to that, I say, why not? It's not every day we get to see the president in a more light-hearted setting. Plus, let's be real, it's just fun to talk about. But in all seriousness, it's always interesting to see how these kinds of stories play out in the media. Will this latest win be seen as a positive for Trump? Or will it just be another example of his, shall we say, questionable behavior? We'll have to wait and see, but one thing's for sure, Donald Trump is always good for a headline. And speaking of headlines, we've got plenty more where that came from. From celebrity scandals to political intrigue, we'll be diving into all the latest news and gossip. So grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's get started. We'll be right back with more tea on Morning Joan. Welcome back to Morning Joan, darlings. You know I love a good dose of Tinseltown tea, and this story has it all. Hollywood A-listers, religion, and a healthy serving of controversy. So let's get straight to it. Faris's ex-husband Chris Pratt has been quite vocal about his Christian faith, and it seems their son Jack is following in his footsteps. But here's the thing. Faris herself isn't too keen on organized religion. In fact, she's been pretty open about her own spiritual journey, which has taken a rather different path. Now, I'm not one to judge, but it's interesting to see how these two are navigating their differences when it comes to raising their son. Apparently, Jack has been having some pretty deep conversations with his mom about faith and religion. Anna's been trying to challenge his views, asking him questions like, "Do you think it's a luxury to be pro-life?" And you know what? The kids' responses are actually pretty impressive. But what really caught my attention was Chris Pratt's own story about how his faith was strengthened after Jack's premature birth. He's spoken publicly about making a deal with God, asking for grace and promising to give his platform to his faith if his son was saved. And, as we know, Jack did pull through, and Chris has been vocal about his Christianity ever since. Now, I'm not here to debate the merits of religion or criticize anyone's personal beliefs. But what I do find fascinating is how these celebrity families navigate their differences in the public eye. It's not always easy, darling, especially when you're under the microscope 24/7. So, there you have it, a little glimpse into the complex world of celebrity faith and family dynamics. And remember, darlings, when it comes to raising kids, there's no one-size-fits-all approach. Every family is unique, and what works for one might not work for another. Welcome back to Morning Joan. We're wrapping up today's show with the juicy update on the personal lives of some reality TV stars. It seems like love is in the air for some, while others are navigating breakups and co-parenting. Let's dive into the latest scoop. We've got updates on several couples from the secret lives of Mormon wives. Whitney and her husband are going strong, but Michaela Matthews and Jace Terry have confirmed they're taking time apart due to intimacy struggles. Layla Taylor and Clayton Wessel divorced in 2023, and Layla has since moved on to a new romance with Mason McWhorter, although the two have recently split. Miranda McWhorter and her ex-husband Chase are committed to co-parenting their kids despite their divorce. Meanwhile, other stars like Demi and her husband are blending their families and looking forward to having more kids. It's always interesting to see how these reality TV personalities navigate love, relationships, and family life in the public eye. That's all for today's Morning Joan. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay fabulous.